Hey, what's up, guys? This is Rob. I am the vet.
Hey, this is Murph. I am the maintenance man.
What's up, guys? It's Shea. I'm the noob of the group. Welcome to the Waiting Table Podcast. Let's get into it.
Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Waiting Table Podcast, where we have roundtable discussions about the hottest topics in the weight loss community with, of course, the coolest people in the bariatric community. I'm Rob. This is Murph. This is Shea. Grab a chair, wind down from your busy day, and take a seat at the table. Shea, how's it going today?
It's going good. If I had to sum it up in 3 words, I'm going to say that's 4. Okay, four words. I'm tired and excited.
Damn, tired, excited. And Murph, give us 3. Give me 3 words.
Ooh.
I'd have to say blessed, impressed with what you guys are doing here, and a little stressed.
If the third one doesn't rhyme, then
stressed.
Yeah,
it had to. I had to rhyme.
It had to.
Stressed.
That was perfect.
Yes, going on vacation tomorrow, so I'm a little stressed.
Yes. Awesome.
What about you? What about you, Rob?
You can
only choose.
Today.
Oh, perfect.
I don't need one. I don't need 2.
One
I need
word.
1. Boom. Hats. Hat day. We got some lids going on here. We got some representation here with the Carhartts. We got some, I think I'm Jason Mraz, and we got Murph wearing my daughter's hat from Newsies. I love it.
Yes.
Did you? Here.
Oh, there you go. I loved the Newsies though, man. The songs, I still get those songs stuck in my head. Were you guys Newsy fans?
2 weeks, my daughter is doing her musical theater presentation on Newsies, so I'm super, super excited to see how it goes.
That's amazing.
What you guys are talking about.
I'm going to send you some links. Murph.
It's okay. No, you don't have to. It's all right.
But it's good that you don't know what we're talking about, because this episode is all about getting to know each other a bit more. So we are officially in season 2 of the Waiting Table. As you can see, we look a bit different. We got myself. I am wearing glasses and a hat. We got Murph. We also have someone over here who has joined us, and this is Shea at Grow with Shea. Oh, she's over here. I'm over.
She's over here. She's up here.
Depends on where you're looking.
And you're where I see you. You're pointing to Rob. So I think you guys are all just making it a little confusing.
Okay.
Like a weird Brady Bunch type thing. So
Brady Bunch, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like we wanted to take. We had our episode number 1, which went horribly because we didn't record anything, which was awesome technology.
Yeah.
And then we did our episode 1 redone, which we did in person at your place, actually, Murph, which was great.
Yeah.
And so we thought that it would be an awesome idea to do an episode 1 for season 2, just to get to know each other, with the addition especially of Shea. So this is going to be a really, really fun episode to get through.
Yeah. So I kind of gave you guys a homework assignment. I don't know how much you prepared for it, but I said, okay, guys, I want you to come to the table today with 2 truths and a lie. I feel like there's so much information you can get to know about someone from just those things of two truths and a lie. Okay. So do you guys want me to kick it off? Do one of you want to kick it off? How do you want to do this?
Murph, you want me to go? That way you can write yours down, or?
For the first time, my dog didn't eat my homework, and I'm prepared.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I won't use that as an excuse. I've got it. If you guys are ready to hear it.
Kick it off,
so, 3 things, right? 2 truths and a lie. And you guys are going to guess.
And we have to guess.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, number 1, I flew coach to Amsterdam with Ja Rule.
Oh, damn. Was Ashanti there?
Ashanti was not there. But some big bodyguards were there. Number 2, I was an extra in the party scene at the end of the movie Super Troopers. Bro, good one. Lots of fun with those guys. Number 3, I met and married my wife. Met her on Tinder. So we both swiped right, and we married in 7 weeks.
Okay.
Met and married in 7 weeks. So there's an easy one in there, and then a couple hard ones.
Your wife is the truth.
I don't know if Shea knew that though. I was trying to throw.
I felt like that one was. I wasn't sure how much you were trying to play me. I felt like that one was mostly true, but I didn't know if it was like after 8 weeks instead of 7 weeks, or like a little twist like that. So
like, are you gonna be a jerk about this game and the semantics?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how tough you were gonna be.
I'm 7 weeks and 3 days, really. But.
So it was kind of a lie. No, I'm just kidding.
As our number one supporter, I feel like you wouldn't be able to lie about Elise because she's such a big supporter of the show.
Right.
So I feel like
she's always here. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna say the second one, the Super Trooper.
The second one's a lie.
A lie. Yeah.
What do you think, Rob?
I will also say Super Trooper is a lie because I feel like Ja Rule is so specific.
Yes. And you even said like the bodyguard thing. Like that's what made me think that one was a truth. You're like, oh yeah, but he had 2 big bodyguards. I'm like,
He actually had 3 big bodyguards, and they were huge. And I heard his voice. He was sitting behind me, and I had to listen. No, I didn't have to, but I mean, I listened to him talk the whole time, and I was like, "That's Ja Rule." Before I even looked, I was like,
"Yeah,
that's Ja Rule." And then
I like to imagine. I like to imagine you were like, oh no, I had to listen to him. You're like, shut up, Ja Rule. Like, give it a break.
His voice is so cool. Yeah, right. But no, my sister-in-law actually was an extra on Super Troopers. So
interesting.
Borrowed that one, but
nice.
So those weren't too hard. What do you guys got?
Cool. I'll go next.
Go for it.
Okay, I actually wrote mine down. So, because I feel like I wanted to prepare for this. So, I was in a feature film as a child, is my first thing. Okay. I played golf in both middle school and high school. And I'm named after Shea Stadium in New York, which is no longer there. Which one is the lie?
These are a little tough.
Shea Stadium.
Shea Stadium.
That's the lie? Okay,
you think that's the lie?
Yeah.
I was gonna say the golf one. I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
I'll go with golf.
Okay. You got it, Murph. I am not a golfer. I have been in my dad's a big golfer, so I actually have been in a golf cart accident before where I tipped it over as a kid. Everything was fine. I came out okay. But yeah, golfing myself, I'm not into that. But I was an extra in the movie Raising Helen with Kate Hudson when I was a kiddo. Me and my best friend Taylor, we were little school kids in the background. You can see us like run by for 1 second. And I was named after Shea Stadium. That's the only name my parents could decide on. Was it the Dodgers that used to play in New York at that?
Brooklyn.
No, not Brooklyn.
It's in Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I was named after but it's no longer there. So cool. A lot of people don't know it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
All right, Rob, what's yours? What's yours?
All right. Truth number 1.
It's a lie.
Yeah. You got it. I have been a keynote speaker presenting to hundreds of medical professionals on my experience with bariatric surgery and the importance of a solid mindset to achieving lasting, predictable results.
Okay.
Truth number 2.
Ooh, we're getting some ASMR stuff up in here.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Very nice.
I've been featured on an American radio show, a Filipino news segment, and an American cycling magazine on my experience with cycling and weight loss. Truth number 3. I have completed a triathlon, a half marathon running, and a double Century Club bike ride. Century Club being 100 kilometers, so 200 kilometers bike ride in one day. Which one's the lie?
I'm going to go with number 2. I'm going to say number 2 is the lie. a lot of details in there. I think you did what you guys thought I was doing and switching some of the little details. Maybe
to
you
make
were
it just
featured,
barely,
but maybe not in all of those magazines and things. And yeah.
I don't know why I'm feeling like number 3. I feel like there are details in that too, where there were a lot of things where maybe he's done a couple, but I don't know you well enough, Rob. So I don't know, but I'm going to guess number 3.
All right. Luckily, as a salesperson, my ability to lie is still intact.
Oh,
it was
no.
number 1.
Whoa,
Really?
that was the one I was convinced.
That was the one I was
true.
Yeah.
Like,
I
obviously.
Speaker, never to medical professionals. I have done presentations to other companies in regards to the importance of a solid mindset in achieving lasting, predictable results, goal setting, and things of that nature. I do speak to hundreds of medical professionals for my regular job, but not really in conjunction of those two aspects of my life. Yes, I've been featured on an American radio show, as I had talked to you guys previously about my aunt, who is Bill Clinton's. She was the White House president. When he was the president, she had me on her radio.
White House doctor.
Yep,
White House doctor.
Arizona. I was also on a Filipino news segment about during COVID about weight loss and cycling to help me achieve a specific lifestyle, which was aired globally, which was amazing. I had all these people reach out to me about my story, and they're like, "Oh, you're that guy." It's called. It was like, and this is a bit of a lost in translation. It's like, "Oh, The Biggest Loser." Shit. And then,
that's like the show. The show,
like,
right?
No, I think it's like Big Loser or something. Not even Biggest Loser. Hey, Big Loser. I was like, okay,
you're the big loser.
And yeah, I was also in Cycling Magazine, and they did a special on me in regards to me utilizing cycling for my weight loss. So yeah,
cool. Gosh,
and
yeah,
the
showbiz is. Wow.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say the showbiz is in your blood. I had no idea.
Yeah,
like,
it was really.
What are you doing here?
Dude, this is the best part, man.
A professional show. Like,
this is.
Come on, Murph. We can get on like Vogue in the next year or so to kind of. I mean, it'll work
easily. I can get on Vogue again. No problem.
Anytime.
Magazine. That's
do that
goal.
again.
I'm going to be on the cover of Berry Men magazine.
I thought you said Harry. I thought you said Hairy Man.
Hairy Men magazine. Hairy Asian men, and there's no one in the whole magazine because there's no hairy Asian men.
So it's just a blank. It's a blank magazine.
Not a very robust publication, unfortunately. That was fun.
That's awesome.
About you guys.
I know. See, you can see who's a good liar, which we know Rob is the best out of both of us, out of all of us. So you're again a big loser.
I'm the big loser.
You're the big loser. Good job.
Big loser. Hairy Asians. all of it, guys.
That's amazing.
I'm actually doing a podcast with one of our. Oh, let me see if I can grab it. I don't know where my phone is, but I was asked to. I connected with someone over the past couple of days in regards to doing a podcast. It is a bariatric. Maybe I shouldn't say any names because I don't want to give anything away, but a bariatric nutritionist who specifies specifically on active lifestyles for the bariatric or the post-op.
Oh, cool.
Patient. And I had connected with this person and I started looking at everything. I'm just like, damn, this is exactly who I should have seen when I asked my surgeon before my surgery. I'm just like, can I do endurance sports? That was my number one question. He was just like, do you have any questions? I'm like, yeah, can I keep riding my bike? And he was sort of like, I guess. Like this would be perfect, right? So I'm going to be doing that next week, which is super, super exciting. And this is totally awesome with sort of what I want to do. So
very cool.
Pretty cool.
Very cool.
That's so cool. So I want to know too, like about, I mean, however much you guys want to share, but like, I know you guys are both married, you have kids. Can you tell me like, just like a brief synopsis sort of like how you met your spouses and like, and how many kids you have? I think you guys share that normally, right? Like, just like, I guess family is at the heart of I think of all of us in different ways. So like, I just want to know more about that and what that looks like in your guys' worlds.
Yeah, for sure. So Elise and I have been married for 8 years, and we did meet on Tinder. And then when we finally met up, we met at my church, and she met my whole family same day at church
Wow.
with me, and we went on a couple dates, like 3 dates, and then we decided like we want to get married. And I had already had 3 children from a previous marriage. She'd had 2. So we were already blended when we got together, and then we decided to have 2 more together. So we have a total of 7 kids from 16 to Jude just turned 5. And we homeschool, and my wife is in nursing school, and I just started working again at the hospital, and and so we're busy all the time, and so going on vacation tomorrow, first thing in the morning, and so that's it's been just trying to take things one day at a time, but it's always pretty chaotic and hectic, and so this is a nice, fun way for me to try to help people out, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to start the waiting table, Rob and I, was to because we both are very family driven, and the importance of family and being there for family long term, and we've both been I was absent for many years from my family, and you can't make up that time, but I'm going to make the most of what time I have left. So it means a lot to me doing this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and everything that Murph has mentioned resonates with me so much, other than the 7 kids. So it's like that minus 5. But yeah, everything that we've done was for our kids and our family, right? Like the surgery, just the effort that we've put into all of this, and how we've really, I think, sort of run with it in terms of bariatric surgery and getting to where we want. And you mentioned being absent, and I'm just like, if you can be absent while still being there, then that was me, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's what made it even worse. If I was absent and just not around, then whatever, I was absent. But if I'm sitting there watching everything go by, knowing that I'm unable to be part of it, that's just what killed me, and I couldn't do it anymore. And you would think, I know a lot of people have had this discussion with me, you'd think that you'd have, your doctor says you have high blood pressure, or this happens, or this happens, or this happens, and that's enough to be like, hey, get into action, make things happen, right? Fortunately, that's not always the case, right? Everyone has different things that sort of cause them to move forward. And without going back and forth about all the different things I could have done, I like to focus on the fact that I did do. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
I did make that decision, and I did make that change. And, I'm 2 years in. A lot of times I think back, and I'm just like, I'm there. I'm set. I'm my mind is already past that idea that, you need to learn how to keep going. This is my life now. This is the life that I thought at day one, this is what I wanted to get to. I've done it. Now it's just living it out, right? So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and I hear, or I listened to some of the other past episodes where I hear like the pain and the guilt in both of your guys' voices of like that time lost. Different perspective coming from a daughter who I had a strained relationship with my dad, and he's very open about this, so I know he doesn't mind that I share, but he had a season where, we were not in each other's lives. He was absent. He was addicted to drugs. It was like a really bad time. And so he missed probably a good 10 years of my life, like from when I was about 13 till about 23-ish. And coming from a daughter's perspective, though, even though there were a lot of things that he missed in that time, he missed my wedding, like big life events, my graduation. He did work on himself to where we have such a great relationship today. And so, like, again, this is just more from a daughter's perspective of like, yes, there was time that was missed, but the quality of time that we have now is so invaluable that it's like, it's kind of irrelevant in a lot of ways because we're working towards the future. So I don't know, just as you guys were talking about that, I guess I hear the same type of regret and remorse that like my dad has had in different ways, you know, different situation. But it's like, you guys made the choice though to figure your own stuff out so you could be there for your family, and not everybody makes that choice. So that's really cool.
100%. And, you know, even when we talk to a lot of people about different things, and, you know, and I think to myself, to an extent, you know, you do tend to get hung up on a lot of the negatives, a lot of things you didn't do, or a lot of things, the time that you could have spent doing this. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I had done this 10 years earlier. I wish I had done this, whatever. For me, it's just the fact that we've done it, right? I think there is a lot to be said about the fact that Murph, myself, you, a lot of these other people in our community have taken the steps to better themselves, because it is a scary thing, not just to have surgery, because it's a surgery, right? That's scary. But there's a lot that comes along with that. And a lot of that is putting it on the line and risk failing, right? A lot of us have failed many times. A lot of us have done a lot of diets. I've lost 100 pounds, I've gained it, lost 100 pounds, gained it, lost 120 pounds, gained it, all that stuff. This is the point where I'm just like, I'm going under the knife. I'm having surgery. I'm changing everything about myself. And it's scary. And it's something that people shouldn't take lightly, but it's something to be celebrated that you made that decision. Right. And I love the fact that my kids have been such a big part of that sort of transformation, but even everything since. We are very honest with our kids. So in terms of eating and diet and everything, I'll be very honest with them about why we're eating healthy. I'll be very honest about why daddy was 380 pounds. I'll be very honest about why grandma and grandpa passed away at the age that they did, which is early, is because we didn't care as a family about being healthy, right? My brother has diabetes, very bad diabetes that he's sort of gotten under control over the past, you know, couple of years. And there's a correlation to the way that we used to view food, right? I fully think that we are lucky to have gotten away as safe as we had, right? I haven't had a heart attack, probably should have at that point. So I love the fact that my kids are able to learn from our mistakes, but more importantly, they're able to learn from my decisions moving forward.
Yeah. And see, from my perspective, it's like, it's cool hearing that side of you guys have kids. The whole reason I started my journey was in the hopes that we will have kids. And so it gives me a lot of like gratitude of like, wow, like I'm really grateful I did this now compared to having kids. Again, not saying that there's not a good time or that it wouldn't be a good time having kids and then getting the surgery, but it just makes me really grateful of like, I get to set them up in that way when we do have kids and I wasn't given that opportunity in that same way. So it's cool. It's like breaking patterns and changing generations in that way. That's pretty incredible.
Sure.
Yeah. And your motivation was, you know, for the kids that aren't here yet, you know, your motivation was for you, is for Dylan, you know, for you guys. And I wished, and so if there is any sort of guilt in my voice, it's, you know, it's because I didn't have that healthy relationship. I didn't care about myself enough back then to think long-term for my now 7 children. You know what I mean? And I'm learning this as I go. I feel like I've been kind of rebirthed in a sense. I've had to relearn how to do everything. You know, my relationship with food has completely had to change. Has had to change. You know, since, you know, from my childhood, and here I am now, you know, 40 years old, relearning everything. And now I can tell my kids, you know, and I'm the same as Rob. You know, we're very open and honest. Like, try to get this under control now because you want to be there for your kids, and look at the importance of being there, you know, for them, but also for yourself. Cause you know, listen to your body and, you know, how does that make you feel? How did that, you know, giant bag of cheese puffs make you feel today? You know what I mean? Like, make some good choices And yeah, Rob.
Yeah, I'm just saying it was pretty.
It felt good. I like the cheese puffs. I like the cheese puffs. It's totally worth it, Dad.
Yeah.
That's what they would say too. No, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Because when we're young, we have this sense of we're going to live forever. There's no,
Nothing in touch with.
and for a lot of us, unfortunately, we have to learn the hard way. We have to be on death's door before we realize, like, oh my God, I pissed my life away. At the time I was going on 38, and I didn't think I'd make it to my 40th birthday. And I've got 7 kids, and it's like, nah, something's got to change, something's got to give. And so I made this decision knowing that I'm all in, and I've got my cat's scratching at the door. Sorry.
Come in, kitty.
Get in here. It's cold out. But I pulled the trigger on it and said, I gotta do it. And it's not just a quick fix. It's not just an easy, decision that I made lightly. It was something that, this is a lifestyle change, and I'm changing my whole lifestyle and everything about my life to be here for them, to be here for myself, so that I can be here for them. So.
Well, and that's an interesting kind of, I think, misconception, or like what I see painted in different areas, that like people who struggle with excess weight or health conditions, pertaining to obesity, that, they're just so lazy. They're just so, like selfish. Like, why aren't they thinking of other people? That I've heard like stuff like that. And the interesting thing is like, I feel like at least I know for myself and like other people I've talked with, it comes from a place of self-punishment and not thinking that you're worth anything. And so it's exactly what you were saying, Murph. It's like, once you realize, like, wait, like my life is worth more than this, not from a shaming way, but just like, I deserve to have more than this. It's like, that's what I think really encourages people to do what's right for themselves. And even when you're fostering that with your kids, right, you could shame and be like, why'd you eat all those cheese puffs, or whatever, but that didn't work out super well for people I know, so it's like fostering. It's like, well, how did that make your body feel? Do you think you're worth more than that? Like, do you think you're worth having a body that feels good? And yes, you are. And maybe having those cheese puffs, that is something that made your body feel good. And that's great, Yeah.
And honestly, that is when I talk to a lot, like, so as a peer mentor at the UHN, which is the University Health Network in Toronto, where I had my surgery. When I talk with a lot of different mentees, and when I've talked with a lot of other people, for me, it was always about mindset, right? It was about, if I can, like, imagine you back then, right? Murph, imagine you at 400 pounds. If you would be able to grasp on to a little bit of knowledge, knowing that the life you're living right now, the way you're feeling, not only your body and physically, but emotionally and mentally, and the control you have over everything, like, the amount of power in that little piece of a vision is profound, right? Yeah. It gives you hope. It gives you something to look towards. And if you can hold on to that and make it so that is what you're working for, as opposed to, I'm working for 100 pounds off, I'm working for this, I'm working for this lifestyle, I'm working for the feeling that I get when I see that, when I imagine me at 100 and, what are you weighing now?
Me?
Yeah.
At 179.
Me at 179, where I'm able to do cartwheels with my kids and run around with them and go on roller coasters and stuff. Like, for me, that's the thing that got me excited. That's the thing that made every single stall just a slight roadblock. Because regardless of anything that happened, I kept in my head that idea of me. And here's the thing, like, I could hear the sounds in my memory that I had, and that vision that I built. I could hear the sounds of the birds chirping. I could feel the feeling of the sun on my face as I'm picking my kids up, actually, and playing with them because my back doesn't hurt, right? All of these different things. I can remember the way I feel. Like, these are the things that I find that if you can connect with, it has so much power over your ability to get through everything, right? And for me and for you, I think, and for a lot of us, that ties back to family. Oh, damn. Okay. You're getting attacked, Murph.
Kitty on the loose.
This is Han Solo.
Han Solo.
Are you serious right now? Come on. No. It just came in. It smells awful too. Sorry, Rob. It's true though. I mean, like it's not just the memories. It's like the everything that encompasses that memory, the sights, the smells, the sounds, the places that you can go. And then I like to take a lot of videos. It's something that I do.
Yeah.
And I post all our like family trips, like the trip we're going on tomorrow. I'm gonna charge my cameras here soon and get those ready and we're gonna start rolling and I want to cherish these memories and I want them to cherish these memories too. I want them to see that, Dad invested a lot of time and effort and I just hope that, and that's my, prayer is that they see these videos and they think, Dad was there and he was watching and he was trying to see all the good stuff, you know what I mean? And look at all the good memories that, because I could edit these videos and you guys could see a totally different side of the Murphy family. You know what I mean? Like I've got to go in there and I've got to splice some stuff up,
Sure.
but trying to pull out the good because these are the moments that are worth fighting for, worth living for, worth, having surgery for, worth changing my eating habits, changing my lifestyle, changing my mindset. Worth it, totally worth it. So.
And see, what I see being even more impactful than that, again, coming more from like a kid's perspective or like a daughter's perspective, is going, if I saw you as my dad, Murph, going, wow, my dad is learning who he truly is, and he's helping me learn who I truly am. So it's not even like, oh, wow, my dad's there for me. That's cool. That's good. But even further and like more impactful than that, it's like, he's dedicating and investing time in himself. So he's not putting all of his garbage onto me to try to figure out as a kid. Right. And now I'm more equipped and well equipped to understand who I am because he knows who he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
I don't want them to have
cool.
to suffer. I don't want them to have to suffer or go through the pain that I don't want them to learn anything the hard way. I feel like I chose to learn the hard way in so many aspects of my life. And you don't have to do that. Like you can make good choices and just start with food and, because that's something that you have to do, 3-4 times a day. You know what I mean? Start with that good choice and let's just build up. And, those good food choices that you make, 3 times a day could turn into this other choice. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but, just I hope that they.
Well, it's all by example. It's all by example, right? I know that's like such a cliche thing, but it's like I think it.
Parents said.
right. But I don't know. Again, because I'm not a mom yet, it's like I relate more to that like daughter role of like, wow, like if my parents had done that when I was young, even when I was like a teenager, like if they had invested in themselves and really learned who they were as individual people, that would have been so freaking helpful to me as a kid, because instead there was just a lot of trauma there that I've had to undo and work through from that. And on top of that, learn who I am as a person. So it just would have been nice to have parents who knew who they were as people that could have fostered that more in me. So all of that to say, like, as an encouragement, I think it's just really cool that you guys are doing that for your kids now. And it's going to lend to a lot of cool things for them in the future. That's awesome.
And Murph, here's the other thing, right? Shea mentioned leading by example. Like, you're doing this at 40 years old. That I think is a huge lesson, because I know in my household, in my culture, it was just like, at a certain point, you sort of just accept things, right? This is life. This is the life you've built, and this is the way it is.
Yeah.
No, 40 years old, you're making it better for them. You're making it better for yourself. And it teaches them about what their own value is, that you're willing to change 35 years of eating habits, 35 years of this is how it's always been done.
Yeah.
For yourself and for them, right? It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. I mean, something I don't think I've ever shared on the show before is that I didn't meet my biological father till I was 26 years old.
Oh, I didn't know. You didn't share that.
He had left me when I was a year old with my mom. And so when I was an adult and I had kids of my own, I met him. and it's so I've always kind of been in this mindset of like being better than my dad and my stepdad, and God has always brought a man into my life. I believe that God is the father to the fatherless, and so I've always had somebody in my life to give me that role model, or so it was like it was an uncle, it was my grandfather. They had their seasons. I had a youth pastor who was like my mentor and taught me how to be a dad, and do the dad type stuff. But alcoholism has run in my family. I've never been an alcoholic, and that is something that I've always had to kind of battle, and I've never turned to alcohol. I've had a couple low moments, but I've never become an alcoholic, and that was something that I had to fight off, that urge, or that, for my kids, because I want them to definitely have a better life and a better relationship with their dad, and so. But then it was food, it wasn't alcoholism, it was food, and and so trying to avoid that addiction, I still wound up falling into this trap of addiction still somehow, but it's not too late, Rob. Yeah, I'm a young 40.
That's
I
it,
still
man.
got time for this. I'm still good.
We mentioned in that I think it was back and forth on the chat. Maddie was mentioning about can we keep up? And I was just like, we're old at this point, we're tired.
Yeah, we're gonna do a trivia game to see who the oldest is. I think that's the only way to solve it when Maddie comes on the show.
Murph is like 3 months older than me or something. I'm just like,
yeah, I'm
Murph.
I'm like 5 minutes older than you, Rob.
Yeah, I'm like, Murph's only the oldest.
That's so awesome. Well, from a different perspective too, like, because I don't have kids yet, right? Like, it's been an interesting journey just from more of my relationship dynamic with Dylan. So we've been together since we were 15 and 16 years old. So I'm going to date us, but that we've been together 11 years this month, and we've been married it'll be 7 years this year. And that's just been an interesting thing as I've been on this journey of learning who I am. I can't remember what the statistic is, but it's like it's a high percentage of people who, when they get the surgery, they tend to get divorced after, right? Because I think it just forces you to learn more about who you are. And so we've been in a season just of, as I've been learning who I am, he's learning who he is. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like the stuff that you learn about each other when you're dating, because we were so young, we were so enmeshed. And it's like learning, I like this, and it's okay that I like this and you don't, and vice versa. Yeah. And so that's been an interesting journey. But again, I'm glad that we're learning who we are as individual people. So again, when we have kids, we can teach them how to do that as well. Because again, you think of like past, relationships that don't work out and whatnot. A lot of that comes from just not knowing yourself. Like,
right.
Yeah. And who you are now is totally different than who you were pre-op, or not even pre-op, 3 months after the surgery. Like this journey is literally a journey of self-discovery, right? Mm-hmm. Everything that you thought you knew of who you are, it changes, because I actually feel that the real you actually comes out, right? Mm-hmm. Like your confidence grows. The person that you've always wanted to be and that you knew was in there, but you were always hiding behind the fat jokes and behind the self-deprecating humor, which I still do, but it doesn't have the same effect on myself that I used to. Like, you don't have to hide. We talk about this all the time, right? You don't have to hide behind that anymore. And it's just you. And it's just like, hey, I don't have the patience for all this crap or all these whatever issues, right? Like, this is where I want to focus my time on, my effort on. Totally a different person now. And in a year in, Shea, you're going to be a totally different person. 2 years in, you're going to be a totally different person. So it's going to be a fun journey for you guys to constantly learn about who you are as you get closer to wherever that goes, even into motherhood.
Yeah. Right? And it's funny because like the more I grow and it's almost like, people say like, oh, I'm a totally different person after surgery. It's more of like, I feel like I finally come home. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, this is who I've always been. And so it's fun, like looking back at, or just like memories and stuff of like what I would do as a kiddo. And it's like, oh, that makes so much sense that like I enjoyed doing that because that's what I enjoy now. Or like just my humor and stuff. It was so similar back then, like what it is now. And so it does feel like a homecoming in a lot of ways. And it feels just like natural and right and nice. It's awesome.
I find that now where I am in my life, because we all have different hats, masks, whatever we want to say, that we put in
Literally different hats
different
today.
hats,
Very,
right?
very different.
Again,
Very different
Jason
hats.
Mraz. We have different masks that we put on in different settings, right? Work Rob used to be very different from hang out with friends Rob versus be with my kids and be with my wife Rob. I find that at this point in my life, I'm literally the same Rob everywhere. And the way I sort of see it is, if you don't like it, obviously I'm not going to say the same things to a customer of mine that I will to my buddies when we're just shooting the shit, right? But I don't hide behind anything anymore. I know what my value is. I know what my value is as professionally, but I also know what my value is as a person. And I'm just like, hey, you take it or leave it at this point, right? And I don't think I would have gotten to that point if it wasn't for this transformation that I've gone through. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's good.
Also, interestingly, I had totally forgotten that we gotten through this whole conversation with you asking us about, can you tell us briefly about your,
I know you
about
guys
how
are like,
you
what
met
are
your
we?
wife?
You're like, what are we even going to talk about? I'm like, I feel like I only need one question and it'll get
And
going
then
where
it
it
just
needs to
goes.
go.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Shay? Did that answer?
Yeah,
your
that was a
question?
very long-winded way of
Is that-
answering.
is that-
So thanks
okay.
for that, Rob.
Right.
You can talk a lot. You're right.
See, I
What's your-
told you
Just kidding.
guys, don't Pandora's box, don't open it.
What's your
Even
next?
my wife's
What's your
just like,
next
hey,
question?
my wife's like, sorry, I just got to get this in, Murph. My wife's
Yeah.
just like, hey, you talk a lot, eh? On your podcast, she's like, how about you let Murph talk? I'm just like, I'm trying. I'm asking the questions. I'm I'm trying to steer the ship in a specific direction so we can get through all this stuff. But she's like, yeah, let him read. You talk a lot. I'm like, fine.
No, I'm cool.
And
with
then
it.
here you guys are like, oh, you don't talk a lot. You just deflect. I'm like, dude.
But
don't
different
take it
topics.
personally, though.
And different topics, I think it's appropriate for different people to have more to say about different topics. It's okay for it to ebb and flow and for it to look a little different every time. At least for me, that doesn't bother me. It's all good.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'll keep mine short. My wife and I were high school sweethearts. We met in grade 12. I had dated someone in her high school when I was in elementary school, when I was in grade 7, and her all-girls school, they knew me as Rob, and yeah, waiting
You had
in
a
the room.
reputation.
I had a
Yeah,
reputation. So she knew who I was, and we went on a retreat. It was actually a Christian leadership retreat, actually, where we met. And yeah, my goal was, we did this activity, and you had to pretend to be a specific type of leadership style. And I was like, they gave me dictator, so I was a dictator. And yeah, and I remember her swearing.
And your wife was like,
book.
I want a
She's
piece
like,
of
I know,
that.
friggin' Rob. Yeah, she was just like, no, this guy sucks. And then it just grew from there. She ended up being like my best friend. And she would hear me talking about other people that I was sort of interested in. And at some point it ended up turning into, well, why can't that be me? And so, yeah, we started dating on my birthday when we were in grade 13, which is no longer here in Canada. We got married in 2011, so we've been married for 11 years, but we've been together forever. Yeah, 2 kids, 5 and 8.
Aw.
Ta-da!
So she liked you first, and it took you a while to come around and to kind of wisen up about it?
No, I had actually asked her out, and she said no.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go date your friends. And then she was just
That'll teach her.
That'll teach her. And then she was sort of like, oh, that could be me. Look at all these nice things. He's singing her song. Because I used to play guitar for girls. Yeah, Murph. You know how it is.
Oh, man.
And so
man.
I think I have. I'm pretty sure I printed up the lyrics of the first song I wrote for Mary.
Aww.
And that's part of the tattoo I'm going to get, or how this one's going to extend. But it's part of the lyrics to the song I wrote for her back then. And so,
very cool.
Yeah, man. And she was just like, oh, that could have been me. That he's singing songs for. I'm like, hey, Mary, you want to come and listen to me record the song for your friend? That could have been you.
Dang, I love it.
Worked.
So it won her back.
It did. It did.
Wow. See, I liked Dylan first, and I am a strong personality. So I think I kind of scared him initially at first. It took him a little while to come around, but it was kind of similar. We were best friends for a while, and I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, I know you like me. Like,
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, chill out. But it worked out.
Right.
It just took him more time.
It's actually good that we're not doing this live right now, because if my wife was on live, she would be typing up a storm. You would just say, Mary is typing something.
Telling the real version.
He's going to say some stuff right now.
Well, that's what's always funny. It's always funny to hear the opposite or the story from the other spouse.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God.
Well, what do you guys think? I mean, we got a lot of good content here. I feel like I know you guys better. I know Murph is going out of town, and it's like, I don't know, is it like midnight there? No, I'm just kidding. I just can't believe how late you guys stay up. It's so impressive.
10:48. Yeah.
Dang.
Are we cutting here, or is this?
Yeah, I guess. Do you guys want to leave on? Yeah, what do you guys want to leave on?
Hey, honestly, once you hit 40, it's hard. It's that part. It's hard.
Stop.
Time out. You got it. I feel like we should just end the recording at Murph saying, I just really have to pee. That's where we should end it.
So let's actually close it off in style. So all right, guys, thank you once again. That's all the time we have tonight on the waiting table. So thank you very much for joining us, where we are serving the weight loss community. It's your line today.
I forgot what the line was. I was so focused on my line. Serving the weight loss community. 1 pound. Oh, that is my part. Okay, 1 pound at a time. Okay, wait. That was bad.
No, that's good. That's the best
okay.
part. Hey, you know who
1
you could
pound
blame? You could
at a
blame the
time.
guy who just left to go pee.
I know.
90 years old.
It happens. You know what? When I have babies, then it'll be my time to shine with the pee. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys,
cool.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Murph's just gone.
Okay, see you later, guys. Is that Murph's voice? I wish that.
Well, that actually sounded pretty real. Yeah.
Hey, 1 pound at a time. Oh, damn.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.